Yo, what's happening, people? L up on set. Let's talk about basic compression. This is a subject overdue now. Let's dive in. So I got this kick here, and we're gonna put compression here on this kick. Basic compression inside of Studio One. They have a stock compressor, and I use it a lot. This thing is gorgeous. I love what it does. It get the job done. Now, when we're talking about compression, there are many compressors you can use to achieve some of the same things. A lot of them have different characteristics, but this one is more so your basic. And if you can learn how to use a compressor on your tracks, using the basic one will help you understand how the other compressors works. And in your compressor, you have the basic functions like your ratio, your threshold, your need, which is something I never or hardly use, and then you have your input gain, your gain, and then you can say how much you want to come in to the actual channel, your mix here. You got your attack and your release. All right, so those are your basic functions. So the functions you will see most of the time will be threshold, your attack, release, maybe input, and most importantly, your gain. And if that the plugin allows, it will have a mix function here. But those are your basic functions. And a lot of times we can also achieve a thing that we usually use called side chain. This is something that we use quite often in our music. The basic function of a compressor is to glue your sound, or to kind of give a consistency across the channel or whatever it's doing. That is the ultimate goal. When you shake up a pop bottle or a soda bottle, just think of all of the acids in there, and is ready to come out. It's pumped up, but it can't go nowhere because there's a cap on top. That's the behavior of the threshold knob here. I tell it where I want it to go right here at the threshold. So let me show you how this works. So we solo this kick here. First of all, let's bypass it. This is the raw kick coming in. It's coming in, it's strong, but say, you know what I'm saying? So my threshold here is acting as that cap. And we can see the amount of reduction that's happening here in this meter. And the next thing you would do, you say, well, it's low. I wanted to hit and knock hard. The next thing you would naturally do is to raise the gain. So you want to give your gain the compensation of how much dB you took away or decrease. So we just have to watch the meter here. So it looks like we have a gain reduction of maybe -12, right? Something like that. Right? That's being bypassed, and to me it sounds a little boring. You hear that? It's almost as if the compressor it gave it a little character. There's more character in here when using the compressor. The best way to explain the ratio is it's pretty much how much you want of that kick to be compressed, and that's just lamest term right there. So say for instance, if you watch the slope, and as I increase the ratio, you see the slope. It is kind of cutting, it's acting as that ceiling or the drop top. You know what I'm saying? Once you come back in, you control how wide open you want your drop top to be, and this is actually closing it. It's like boom, that's your ceiling right there. So let's listen to that. So at that point, you are crushing the heck out of this kick, right? So I encourage you guys just to play around with the settings just to see what sounds great to you. A compressor could be used on anything: kicks, hi-hats, snares, vocals, any instrument. It could be used on anything that needs compression. You'd be surprised what compression does. And it's just giving a sense of control in your track. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why you will use a compressor, because if you have like your peaks just going out of, just crazy out of nowhere, if you look at the waveform, you just kind of eyeball and see where things are. And we're looking at rounded instruments that were produced really well. These were designed really well. So there's nothing really crazy going on. But just imagine like vocal, the transients is going crazy, and you need to contain some of that stuff. That is why you will use a compressor. And by the way, this entire kit that I'm using right now is by my boy Sean Devine. This is one of his niche kits. I will do a review on this, so stay tuned for that video in the future. See, your ratio and your threshold are sort of like works hand in hand. You know what I mean? As far as what you're listening to, like it sort of sounds the same. For the purpose of this example, what I would do, like if I was compressing the kick, I wouldn't set my threshold that high. See, my threshold, because this is the meat of the kick, or the meat of the kick, right? So just imagine all of this here. This is the meat of the kick. So if I start bringing my threshold down, decreasing my threshold down here, I'm chopping off my kick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to do that. So the best thing to do is when you start a compressor, you start everything at 0 and you just kind of dial in to taste. You know what I'm saying? And my threshold, or my ratio, should I say, I may just leave it like something like that, around there. If I have a faster attack, it's gonna smack it, which is essentially what we're looking for a lot of times. So this is how you get some hard knocking drums. And my release is the time that it takes before the reactor stop working. So right now it's a fast release. But just say, for instance, this is not a real great example on kicks, but if we got a bass line going right here, or if this compressor was on a bass, which I have a bass later on in the song, then this is where the release makes a difference, or a vocal. This is the time that you want the compressor to react on that sound. Right? So right now, it's like it's stuck there, and we could see the gain reduction meter here is like it's barely moving, because the release it takes longer for it, to cut on and cut off. But if I speed it up, you see, now my gain reduction meter is quick. Really, the release, I feel like, should be relabeled as long and short. So if we decrease the release, that means it's my attack is quick. I mean, if my release is brought up, if we increase the release, is longer. It's like, and then we can control the mix. I can control how much of the compressor that I want mixed in with the dry signal. In my opinion, this is almost like parallel compression. You know what I'm saying? But you have to get in and play with these knobs. just to make it work for you, whatever sound you're going for. But if you're looking for fast, hard attack drums, make them punchy, this is probably somewhat the setting you're looking for. So that's pretty much your basic setting or your basic setup as to how a compressor works. I try not getting really technical about this. I just wanted to explain it the easiest way possible, and I hope you guys caught on to what I was trying to explain. Also, the next step will be using sidechain, but I have a video specific to sidechaining, also using EQ, which is another method of toning your kicks, or toning whatever channel that you wish to add EQ, cut EQ frequencies or whatever. If you have any questions, please feel free to jot them down in the comment sections below. Again, this is Ellip. Music is art. You're the artist. Paint your picture.